Okay, so as far as I can tell, as far as we got with the Book of the Dragonborn was we wrote all the dialogue for it, but we never voiced any of it. And there's a heckin' lot of it. Let me just show you guys the CK so you can see how daunting this task is. We may have bitten off more than we can chew with this. But, you know, that's classic me. I'm always biting off more than I can chew with these things. So, here we are. Here's the scene. So we've got to record all of this. Look at all these words. So many of the little blighters. All of that to record. That's probably going to take us all session, at least. But there we go. Oh, what have I missed in the chat? I'm a mum that plays Skyrim. Well, I'm not. I'm reading out a message here. My daughter mods my game for me. I would like to learn it myself. Do you have a basic learning videos? Sorry for long message. Do you mean how to install mods, or do you mean how to make mods? When you say modding. Because installing mods I don't have any tutorials for, but there are plenty of them available online with a quick Google. Or making mods, I have a tutorial series about how to make a follower mod like Lucien, which is available on my YouTube channel, and that's designed for both beginners and experts. It takes you from the very basics right through to the maximum complexity stuff. So it's a great entry-level series, I think, for getting into making mods, if that's what you're asking about. Is the Camping Lucien patch from the Creation Club camping thing? Yes, that is for Creation Club's camping DLC. It does say that, I think, on the file. Is Lucien's success something you expected/aspired for, or was he a passion project that exploded onto the scene? I designed Lucien intending to fill a couple of niches. Like, I deliberately gave him some unique features that other followers didn't have, hoping, therefore, that that would cause him to make a bit more of a splash. So the training system and the dynamic personality system, and also the interactions with all the other mods, were features that I put in there because I was trying to be different and to make him stand out. And I I hoped that that would go down well, but I never expected to have quite the level of success off the back of Lucien that I have done. I mean, I expected some success. I expected him to do a bit better than some of the very basic follower mods, just because he had more features, and I didn't think there was anything really wrong with my voice as such that was going to hold him back, so I realistically hoped he would be picked up a bit. But I didn't expect to have 250,000 users. So I'm delighted about that. And having all you guys here chatting with me in the stream, and all the support I have over Patreon and everything, and all of this is something I never expected to come out of it, and I'm delighted that it has done. And I'm just going to keep taking it as far as you guys are willing to keep following me on it. You know? Have I done the Book of Daedra yet? Yes! We have. No, have we? No, we did Aedra and Daedra. We didn't do the Book of Daedra. That's one we could do. We've done the Waters of Oblivion as well. I'm really glad to hear that, Novablade. My goal with Lucien was that he should fit in seamlessly. I've tried to make him feel vanilla plus. You know, I'm not a fan of mods that stick out as being modded. I like them to feel professional and to blend in with the main game. And one of my design goals with Lucien was to have him fit in with the main game, and indeed tie other mods further into the main game through interactions. So he's kind of intended as a big sticking plaster to whack on your game, to kind of smush everything together and make it all feel more cohesive and wholesome. Which I think... Wholesome? I don't mean wholesome. He is wholesome. What's the word? More of a whole. Part of a whole thing. I don't know. There's an adjective there. It's based on whole. Holistic? I don't know. Whole. Holy. Something like that. I'm just saying words now. This is the sort of nonsense you guys get on the stream. Congratulations. Red Eagle, Lost Legends, Ethereum War. They're all good ideas for sure. Thanks, Armator. I'm glad to. The mini Lucien is adorable, isn't he, Rivermoon? This is tiny Lucien. He was made by Shiva. Well, he's a Shimiji, which is just a open source thing available online. But Shiva did these lovely little animations for him, and I love them to bits. So he is our mascot for all the streams. How does Lucien lean in the Civil War? Oh, a massively Imperial. He doesn't have any lines for it at the moment. That's something to add in the future. But he's an Imperial. His mother fought in the Great War on the Imperial side and is a captain in the Imperial Legion. He's from Cyrodiil, from the Imperial City. Like, he couldn't be more Imperial if he tried. No, bring Inigo. Don't wait. No need to wait until V3. Bring him. Inigo's great. Hey, Black Cat. Welcome to the stream. No, V3 won't come out this year. It's one of those things that it'll be ready when it's ready, but definitely not this year. Right. Let me fire up Cubase. Now, again, usual disclaimer, usual word of warning. Sometimes when we open Cubase, the audio crashes on the stream. If that happens, I will get it back as quickly as possible. Please don't panic if it does happen. It probably won't. It hasn't done the last few times. But if it does, I'll bring it back. Please don't leave thinking the stream's over. It isn't over. I'll bring the audio back. Like, it'll be a maximum of like 5 minutes at the most. But it'll probably be fine. But just to warn you, it does sometimes happen. Inigo version 3 definitely will not come out in 2020. I cannot stress that enough for you. It might come out towards the end of next year, maybe, but again, there is no release date on it. Yes, pop filter, very important. I will put the pop filter on. Hello, Tense Chamomile? That's a fun name. Tense Chamomile. Or is that chamomile? Chamomile is in the cheese? Isn't chamomile a cheese? I think chamomile's a cheese. Or am I thinking of camembert? No, that's also a cheese. They're both cheeses, aren't they? Or is it a flower? It's a herbal tea! It's a herbal tea. Well, that too. Don't be a tense herbal tea. How long has Blue Cat been working on V3? A very long time. Many years. And I'll work on it many years more. Chamomile tea, fine tea, cheese. What's the difference, really? They're all full of milk. Except herbal tea isn't, so that doesn't even work. I don't know what I'm saying or doing. I'm just struggling through life trying to get by. Don't hate. A delicious piping hot cup of cheese. Oh. So what do you want to drink? We've got Coke, tea, Pepsi, spiders, milk, water. Spiders? Spiders it is. No, wait, but she was already pouring him a brimming glass of spiders. Right, I'm going to record the first couple of lines for this, and then I'm going to go and get more tea, because mine's run out. Now, where is my pop filter? Plushian's got it. Always unscrews itself. Much like my brain. There we go. What did you miss? Almost certainly nothing. Just twaddle. Do you plan to do commentary for short non-CC mods which could consist of 10 or more lines? Yeah! I've always really liked the idea of doing these. I love doing these little interaction patches that just take like a week to do and then they're online. The CC mods are all, CC DLC plugin things are all small enough that I can do that, and they tend to work very well. And I probably prioritize those over doing mods of that scale at the moment, but definitely in the future, I would love to do that sort of thing. There's so many things I'd love to do with Lucien, really. It's just a matter of having time to, you know, prioritizing them. Because there's only so many hours in a day. I would love to just take a year off and just focus on Lucien for a year, like as my full-time job. I know lots of people who've taken gap years and things. Unfortunately, I don't think I can really justify doing that sort of financially. But I would love to do that hypothetically. There we go. Check wants Lucien to read one of the in-game plays and do all the voices like I did in the Halloween stream. That would be fun. What book is that from? The Glass of Spiders. It's a Reddit post. Does anyone know who wrote the original post? Or what it's from originally? I saw it on Reddit. No, not Reddit. Tumblr. I saw it on Tumblr. But it probably has creds at some point. I don't know. Thanks so much for the bits, Macon. Hey, welcome to the stream. I'm doing very well, thank you. Gosh, I said all those words very quickly. How many words can I say very quickly? Many words. How many words can a word person say when a word person says words? Many words. Many speeds. Will there be a Lucien expanded universe? Yes, there is a Lucien expanded universe. If you have a look on my Discord, you'll see there's a timeline as one of the channels, which has a link to all the different media featuring my characters that tie together. All my characters, all my stories that I write exist in a shared multiverse, and I have a kind of arc, a kind of thing. There's a kind of collective story I'm trying to tell that may not be apparent at the moment. How, for instance, Lonely Worlds ties into Lucien, and Lucien ties into the other short stories I've written, both for Skyrim and outside of Skyrim. But they do connect together. And there is a sort of goal. Somebody asked a bit earlier in the stream about long-term goals, which I forgot to respond to. But there are long-term goals for the storyline, kind of, for the whole thing. And I don't want to spoil anything for you, but if you do sort of read around and read some of my other stuff and watch the series, the Lucien the Dragonborn series on YouTube, and the prequel stories, all that, you know, there'll be sort of payoff for that sort of stuff in the future, that'll make you enjoy it all a little bit more, I think. So it does connect. As I say, at the moment, you've just kind of got to trust me that it does, because there are very few links right now. There are links that you will see if you pay close attention, but it's gonna connect kind of more as it all goes on. And there's things, right, that I would love to be able to tell you about, but I can't. There's a thing you guys would love, but I can't tell you about it on that topic. But yeah, there's stuff to look forward to on that front. Oh no, I didn't see that, Macon. Was it on? Did you put it on the Discord? I'll have a look after the stream. Wow, that's commitment, Macon. Right. So, I'm going to record, but mouth is dry. Dregs of my tea to finish off. Haha! Kind of yellow, ego cat. Kind of. I've always been a sucker for extended universes, cinematic universes, connected multiverses. Stephen King. I've read so much Stephen King. And I think he does a fantastic job of having a interweaved narrative, you know, where elements from one crop up in the other all the time in very unexpected places. I love that. Anything where it all connects together, I love it. I mean, Terry Pratchett with his Discworld series obviously went on for, what, like 60 books? And they all connect together. Obviously, they're all set in the same world. But yeah. Marvel, Doctor Who, Star Wars, as Ace says. Anything like that. It all just... love it. It's all great. Right. Are there any 42? Ah, fair. I felt like there were more. Only 42. Gugh, what was he doing? Right. let's record. I could have sworn I remember recording this at some point, or starting to record this, but I can't find the lines anywhere, so we might well be starting again. Okay. Oh, quick warm-up. Hello there, my name is Lucien Flavius. Marvellous, I say, goodness me. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello. I'm a scientist, philosopher, amateur wizard, and some musician, though I suppose that's more of a hobby. I'm here in Skyrim on an expedition, academic mainly. There we go, warming up. Yeah, I know you guys love this. It's important to get the voice right, get myself into the right frame of mind for it. Splendid! Goodness me, marvellous. Righto, let's get cracking. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are, of course, ruled by the Dragonborn emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. Now, you know what? You know what's going to be a better way to do this? Is if I just pop the camera back on for a moment, and rather than me read the lines like that, it's probably better if I bring up the whole book on Tinternet, and then I can read it all out in one go. Because when you record them sentence by sentence, the intonation sometimes goes a bit wrong. Sometimes the lines sound a bit broken and you don't quite get the pause lengths right in between. Whereas if you try and get it done as much as possible in one go, that often produces a better result, in my experience. So I'm going to bring up the whole book on Elder Scrolls Wiki. And then I can just plow through it. And we'll be laughing, as they say. Ah, that's not what I want. I want this. Right. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start again from the beginning. But we might use this take instead. We'll see which one we prefer. Ah, I want this one. Right. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are, of course, ruled by the Dragonborn emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts, and in this book I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those known as Dragonborn down through the ages. Most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh, when the blessed St. Alessia was given the Amulet of Kings and the dragon fires in the Temple of the One were first lit. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed St. Alessia with the blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alessia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavour to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra-loving Aliads. Those blessed, should have messed it up there, those blessed, blah, blah, blah. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the Empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those of the dragon blood were able to wear the Amulet of Kings and light the dragon fires. All the legitimate rulers of the Empire have been Dragonborn. The emperors and empresses of the First Cyrodiilic Empire founded by Alessia, Riemann Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs, down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Because of this connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscured and largely forgotten by all but scholars and those of us dedicated to the service of the blessed Talos, who was Tiber Septim. Very few realise that being Dragonborn is not a simple matter of heredity. Being the blessing of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become Emperor and light the dragon fires are surely Dragonborn. The proof is in the wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh depending and descending? Let's start that one again. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing... Let's go one more time. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things, or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All that we can say is that it is both and neither. A divine mystery. Okay, I'm going to pause there. You guys are having lag, are you? I'm sorry about that. I'm afraid there's not much I can do about it, really. The broadcast is fine. I'm not getting any frame drops on this end registering, so I think the bitrate is fine. Unfortunately, it's just, I don't think we have resolution settings today. We only get them sometimes because I'm obviously not a Twitch partner. Maybe one day, you never know, if I could ever get to 75 viewers average, then you would get resolution settings all the time. But we can't have those at the moment because I'm only an affiliate. So there we go. We got through the first few paragraphs. That's progress. A couple of things that came out to me while I was reading that. Pelagius or Pelagius? What do we think? Pelagius or Pelagius? Do you think of your viewers saving a recording of your warm-ups? I mean, if you want to, by all means, feel free. Yeah, I did consider that originally, EgoCat, about Lucien reading a book and adding his remarks from time to time. But I think the appeal of doing it like this means it's essentially an audiobook, so that if you want to listen to an audiobook while you walk along in Skyrim, you can just tell Lucien to start reading, and he'll just tell you the story as you run along. And yeah, then it's like an audiobook kind of thing, which I think is quite a nice feature. Well, I did, Ace, you asking about doing a Skyrim series with Lucien in tow. When I first proposed the YouTube Let's Play, we did a poll on my Patreon to decide what kind of Let's Play it would be, and there was way more demand for a Let's Play role-playing as Lucien than there was for one where I had Lucien recruited. So I went down that route. If that's something people would like to see in the future, then it's something I could consider doing. But certainly at the time, that was the way where the demand went. But you're very welcome to make all the videos you like about Lucien. It's a great help to me when people make videos featuring Lucien because it promotes the mod more. It's fantastic. So you wouldn't be treading on my toes at all. Please, make a series. I'd love it. Everyone's saying Pelagius. Good, so I said it the right way. Excellent. Pelagius the Mad. Right, folks, I'm going to go and get a cup of tea, because my mouth is very dry, and it's important that my lips are moist when I'm recording this, otherwise I'm going to start making more mistakes. So I'm going to just go and spend 5 minutes making a cup of tea. If you guys want to just chat about, talk amongst yourselves. Lucien is the Dragonborn, a pretty good alternate universe. That is on YouTube, by the way. It's a real thing. There's a YouTube series of Lucien the Dragonborn on my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, I would absolutely love it. Because I'm really trying to grow the YouTube channel at the moment, and it's one of the best ways you can support me by watching my videos if you're interested. Yeah, I can link that series in the chat for you if you like, if anyone's not seen it. 21 parts at the moment, and there's going to be a second season coming probably early next year. Sorry, I keep pushing it back because I'm rubbish. I have no time management. I've got too many things on the go all the time. It was originally planned for earlier this year, and so much stuff has come up. But as I said, I think you will be pleased with the new Lucien update, and I think you'll be glad I chose to prioritize that when it releases. But yeah, there's the link. There's the Let's Play series. If those of you want to see what it's like when Lucien's Dragonborn, all voiced by me. And it is canon. It's not canon to this version of the mod. It's canon to the multiverse. It's part of the Lucien multiverse, and as I say, it will all connect together. So, yeah. See where I'm going with that. But it's part of the overarching story of everything. So, if you do watch it, it will pay off later on with stuff. But anyway, right. The line of Septims have all been Dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace. But we know for certain that the early Cyrodiilic rulers were not all related. There is also no evidence that Riemann Cyrodiil was descended from Alesia, although there are many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Riemann and likely attempts to legitimise his rule. We know that the Blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, originated in Akaviri crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons in the late First Era. They appear to have been searching for a Dragonborn. The events at Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Riemann Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most to promote his standing as Emperor, although Riemann himself never took that title in his lifetime. And of course, there is no known hereditary connection between Tiber Septim and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Whether there can be more than one Dragonborn at any time is another mystery. The Emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion, but of course the imperial succession itself means that at the very least there are two or more potential Dragonborn at any time, the current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of the Blades also hints at this, although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Riemann's empire and the rise of Tiber Septim. Many believe... No, I messed up the intonation on that. Let's backtrack. The history of the Blades also... Okay. The history of the Blades also hints at this. Although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Riemann's empire and the rise of Tiber Septim, many believe that the Blades continued to search out and guard those they believed were, or might be, Dragonborn during this time. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of being Dragonborn. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days, when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days, being Dragonborn meant having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe this was meant quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of Dragonborn heroes who were great dragon slayers, able to steal the power of the dragons they killed. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion, and there is some evidence that this continued after they became Riemann Cyrodiil's Dragon Guard. Again, the connection to dragons. The direct predecessor to the Blades of today. I leave you with what is known as the Prophecy of the Dragonborn. It is often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the last ancient beep noot noot. Let's try one more time. I leave you with what is known as the Prophecy of the Dragonborn. It is often said to originate in an Come on, we can do it. I'm going to pause the recording and start again. Well, not start again, but resume it just to break it up a bit and save what we've got so far. Okay. Let's try one more time. I leave you with what is known as the Prophecy of the Dragonborn. It is often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the ancient Akaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed that its omens had been fulfilled, and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as an interpreter of prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. When misrule takes its place at the 8 corners of the world, when the brass tower walks and time is reshaped, when the thrice blessed fail and the red tower trembles, when the Dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls, when the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding, the world eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last Dragonborn. We made it! We made it to the end! And I think Lucien has a couple of lines to say at the end of reading it, depending on whether or not you've discovered that you are Dragonborn. Let me just find the end of the scene. Here were the 2 variants we had, so I'll just quickly record those as well while we're on the same track, make sure it all sounds consistent. Well, Well, that was quite the read. I'm rather exhausted after all those run-on sentences. Jolly interesting stuff, though. So there we are. A potted history of the Dragonborn for you. Oh, no. So there we are. A potted history of the Dragonborn for you. So now you know your own heritage, does that make your destiny any clearer? Hard to say. There we go. Oh, hey, Vickle, thanks so much for the sub. 6 months of subbing. You've got the Lucien Jester hat. Let me just backtrack through the chat. Sorry, while I was reading all that, what were you guys saying? If the stream's delayed, if you think the stream's delayed, try refreshing. If you refresh Twitch, it often sorts out any delay there is. Does the UK have any major holidays between Bonfire Night and Christmas? Not really. We have Remembrance Day on the 11th, of course. But that's not really a holiday. That's a more solemn occasion. But we don't have any holidays, really. No, we don't have anything dramatic. You guys have Thanksgiving, don't you? When is that? Will Lucien reach into Fallout 2? Probably not, no. Hey, Fish Fiend, welcome to the stream. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. Lovely to have you here again. How do you clip things? Because Newt Newt is my new favourite. Thing is, I'm now going to have to be very careful going through and exporting this. We're going to have to listen to it all through very carefully to make sure I don't accidentally export it with a Newt Newt in there. Are the Mead family even slightly Dragonborn? Well, that's what the book's discussing. It's very unclear what Dragonborn actually means. Is this recording lines? Oh, hey, K0, welcome to the stream. Lovely to have you here. No, this isn't for the Dragonborn DLC. This is for the Book of the Dragonborn. Checks requesting Tragedy in Black as a book Lucy can read. I know nothing about it. But I can certainly consider it. Right. So now it's a matter of going through this, listening back to it, anything I messed up, having to re-record, and exporting all the lines that have come out well. And then we can drop them in game. And jobs are good 'un, as they say. Does anyone say that anymore? Nuna, I feel like you probably say jobs are good 'un. Does anyone else say jobs are good 'un? If you're sleepy, Ace, you should sleep. Shout out to Gandalf, Armitor's service dog in training, who will turn 1 year old on the 26th, which is also Thanksgiving this year. Go you, Gandalf! Best boy. Right, let's get these headphones in. Now, I'm sorry, you guys can't hear this when it plays back. It's because the sound card won't share between Cubase and Streamlabs. You might hear it through my headphones. But I'll keep chatting to you as I listen back to it. It's probably going to take a very long time to export all these. I apologise for that. It's probably not the most interesting content to watch. But, you know, you get the pleasure of my company, so there's that if nothing else. Oh, hang on, that's not loud enough. Where's the volume control? Nope. There we go. Now, what's the first line? Because I broke this up into separate dialogue lines. La 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 bamba. Thanks so much for the bits, Vickle. Oh, thanks, guys. La 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 bamba, have a siesta. Don't really know the words to this song. So we go down to commonly understood here. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. Yep, that was a good line. We can export that. Or file export. So this is Lucien 160, Book of the Dragonborn 1. There you go. That's a nice informative name. Makes it very clear what I've recorded. Always good to have here. Remember, guys, if you've got any questions at all about the modding process or about Lucien or about me or about anything, really, this is always an AMA stream on the modding workshop, so feel free to fire away whenever you like. Yeah, looks good and sounds good. You look good. You look something. Da 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 da, shuffling her feet, singing who would do da 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 dum dum. She look good. She look good. She look da da da. Ah, yes. Parabala, Alabamba, de Necesito, un poco de gracia, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Those are the words. Nuna, I do have a mod question, but it's about navmesh, so I do care if that's really your thing. I know a tiny bit about navmesh, but I'll be honest, I don't work with it much. So unless it's a very basic question, I probably can't help you. But feel free to ask it, because if I can't answer it, maybe someone else on the stream can. Czech made their first Latin sentence in Latin. Well done. Woman kills man. Bit edgy. Druxy Deity, my least favourite musical. Well, it's probably one of the musicals I've not heard. That's the thing. I don't know. I like most musicals, really. I don't think I've ever really been to a musical that I've come out thinking I didn't like that. I'm a musical theatre kid. Which is like an ordinary kid, but with jazz hands. It boils down to why. Fair enough. That's my entire modding experience all at once. Do you know what causes skin and wrist seams without using skin mods? No idea, sorry. Something is changing your skin textures, causing those seams. Trying to add navmesh to a mod that adds a player into your Vasca and it hasn't got navmesh and I don't like it. I don't like it either. But alas, navmesh is a thing you have to do. Hey, Sacrilegious, welcome to the stream. Have I used skin mods in the past? I have not. Everyone always asks that, Arcanal. Yes, I would have to address Lucien's family in some way when Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil is completed for it to be immersive. I don't know what way that will be yet, but I would have thought Lucien's home/family would have to be in it in some form. Walking Existential Dread wants me to sing my favourite song from a musical. I can do that. Weird in the best way. Exactly, Anxious Ace. Exactly. I've never seen Rent, though I've heard very good things about it. But yeah, I'll do the Make Me Sing request in a bit. I want to make some progress exporting this dialogue first, so we don't end up with another stream where I don't really get anything done. But if we don't get time by the end of the stream, do remind me and I'll refund your points. But we will. Okay, so that was down to first lit. Singing ooby dooby dooby dubby dum dum. Ah, now I've already gone wrong. Right, so the next line is... Wiggling her fingers and shuffling her feet, singing, oh no, I accidentally created an alternative line of dialogue when I just wanted to open the first line of dialogue. That's how the song goes. Right, most scholars down to a first lit. So let's have a listen back to this. Yep, that sounds fine to me. It's good enough for rock and roll. Now, what I need to do is, of course, remember to maintain the gaps between the lines. This is one situation in modding where normally you always want to keep the lines really tight to eliminate any gaps. But actually, in order to make it sound sensible, it needs to have some gap in there so that it doesn't sound like Lucien's going, Once upon a time, there was a man called Steve, and he went to the shops and did, you know, you want to have a proper pause in between the sentences, so. It doesn't need to be that big a pause. It doesn't need to go right the way, but it needs to be there a bit. So we'll go up to there. Shout out from Macon to their cat for being a perfect little couch potato that they love. Yay for cats. Cats are the best. Singing ooby dooby dooby. Will you give Lucien custom clothing? No, I won't. Sleeping, venturing is their clothing for going to the bathroom. No, I won't be getting into any of that. It gets far too complicated and buggy. I think there is such a thing as feature bloat, and I just don't think Lucien needs that. Hey, Jokul, hey up. Welcome to the stream. Apologies for absolutely savaging your name there. Hello, I'm creating a follower mod based on your tutorials, which are amazing, by the way. Thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying them. I was wondering how the mods I have installed in my game affect how other people see the character when they download it. So they will see your character as entirely vanilla. So unless you specifically create your mod with intentional dependencies on other mods, which means you have them active in you when you load up the files in the creation kit and you check which master files you want to have active. If you were to set another mod as a master file, then that would mean it would inherit that mod into your mod, kind of. It would appear as it does in your game, but users would be required to have that mod for it to work. If you don't set it as having that as a master file, then your follower will have a vanilla appearance, and then it will be modified if they happen to have that other mod that you're using installed. But if they don't have it installed, it'll stay vanilla, probably, depending on how you've set it up. But certainly the mods you have installed in your game should make no difference at all to the follower you're creating when people download it, unless you specifically set it to. But you won't be able to do that accidentally. That'll just either happen or it won't. So I wouldn't worry about it. That's definitely where you want to do it, by the way. If you want your follower to have a particular modded appearance, your best bet, in my opinion, is to have them as, by default, have a vanilla appearance, and then include an optional patch that causes them to appear, adds that dependency onto the other mod where you want that modded custom look for them. So you never want to set, for instance, your mod to require, what's it called, Sky Hair, or whatever it is that adds all those hairs from The Sims. You wouldn't want your mod to require that mod, because that'll massively limit the number of users you have. It needs to work just out of the box for a vanilla game. But if you had an optional patch to make them look like that, then you'll have a great experience for the vanilla users and an even better experience for those who also have that other mod that you want to include. Hey Bobzilla, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, feel free to post your, well, so long as your story is safe for work, and not, so long as it's sort of appropriate for the server, feel free to post a link to it on the Discord under the Your Writing channel. You didn't know Lucien made Skyrim mods? Well, I'm not in fact Lucien, I just play him. But if you didn't know that whoever made Lucien made mods, how did you think Lucien was made? That's so confusing. That's like a causal loop. But hi, welcome to the stream. Lovely to have you here. Lynx Queen 99, not only a Lynx, but the Queen of the Lynxes, gracing us with their presence. Yes, it is the same voice, because the voice is in fact mine. Because I do the voice. That is this. Hello. Hello there, Lynx Queen. My name is Lucien Flavius. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Now that we're talking about followers, I've been trying to change the face of mine, exported the NIF from race menu, and try... I've just gone down from outfit studio, but when I try and put it on my follower, she's just flying eyes and teeth. Heck, I've got no idea about that one, I'm afraid. Sorry, I honestly don't work much with appearance parts of it. Generally, what I do is I slap together a basic appearance, and then that'll do for me, because I have no artistic eye at all. I'm a words and programming and sound guy rather than the visual guy. So, I don't know. Sorry, but I wish you luck finding the answer. See you, watching hat. How do I make a line for my follower be like idle or triggered by location? Feel free to ignore this. Yes, so there will be a whole episode, probably the next episode of the tutorial series to explain how to do that, but just very quickly showing you what we've got here is if you open up your quest. So here we've got JR Lucien follower. If you open up your follower quest and you head over to MISC, the MISC tab, and you create a topic, so you say new topic, and you select from here, there'll be a button for idle. Now that's not here because I've already created an idle topic, which is here. Anything you put in here, any line you put in this idle stack, will play in-game roughly once every 23 seconds. In practice, that's what my experiment suggests. Now that'll vary slightly depending on your individual setup and your CPU speed and all those factors, but generally it's roughly every 23 seconds. And if you set them as different lines and you set them to random, which is what this R flag is, so if I open up this line, which is Lucien singing the Skyrim theme, there's a random checkbox there, and if you set it as random, then that means once every 23 seconds, the game will choose a line from any of these that are marked as random. It'll randomly select one. Now, down here, I've got this line, which is a baked potato song that Lucien will sing in the new update. And in here, we've got a condition stack. And that's conditioned on, firstly, it being Lucien saying the line, which incidentally should always be your first condition in the stack. But it has get item count food potatoes baked is greater than 1. So what this does is this line will only play if Lucien is currently holding 1 or more baked potatoes. And if he is, then that means this line is valid. If he's not holding it, this line won't be valid. So you can, with these conditions, you can do all sorts of things. You could say, is he in a particular location? Do you have another particular NPC recruited? Is Lucien wearing a fun hat? You know, you can set anything you like. And these conditions will control whether that line will play. So your line won't be triggered by entering a particular location, unless you do clever scripting stuff. But what it will mean is when the game goes through that 23-second cycle, when it next comes round, it'll say, now this time, this 23 seconds, Lucien is in that location, so that condition is true. He has a baked potato, therefore he'll choose this line, or he'll be able to say this line. And that's how we make our follower mods comment on things in the game. That's how it's all done. All your quest commentary, your item commentary, location commentary, it's all done through conditioned lines in a random idle stack. And then if you want to reduce the probability even further for those lines, you can use this condition, the get random % condition. So this is get random % less than 1, which means that even when all these conditions are true, it'll only be 1 out of 100 times that 23-second timer goes round that Lucien will actually say this line. And that reduces the probability, that reduces how often he'll say it and prevents it becoming annoying. Now that is always a whole number, so the minimum you can set that to is 1%. If you want it even rarer than that, you can put another get random % on afterwards, and then they'll stack together. So between a 1% and a 30%, 30% of 1% is 0.3%. So that gives Lucien a 0.3% chance of saying this line, even when all these conditions are true, which makes it very rare. Okay? Hope that answers the question for you. I apologise if it went into too much detail there and bored those of you who aren't interested in that. But that's what the stream is for, is to answer questions that you guys have, so feel free to shoot them at me if you want to know more about how any of this stuff works. Hey, Watcher, welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream. Link says, will the update be save game friendly? Yes, all of Lucien's updates are specifically designed and tested to be safe to update mid-playthrough, so don't worry, it'll be fine. Just download. All you have to do is uninstall the old file. So you load up your game with the old file installed, you save it, you close it, you uninstall the old file, you install the new file, and you load the game again. The key thing is, whatever you do, don't load the game in between uninstalling the old Lucien and installing the new Lucien. You want to switch straight over from one to the other, and the game never sees not having Lucien there. Because if you do that, you cause everything to break. But if you just switch from version 1.5 point whatever to 1.6.0, straight away, flip it over, you'll be fine. So that should be great. That isn't always true for all mods. But particularly for large quest mods or Just big mods that alter massive things like Legacy of the Dragonborn, for instance, you often can't do that. But with Lucien, you can. Because we specifically design him to do that. I design and test him under those conditions. Because it's very important that you guys don't lose your progress. And if I ever find myself wanting to change something that will cause it to break your existing save game, I find another way to do it so that it won't. Because that is a non-negotiable for me. I don't want to break anyone's saves by updating Lucien. Romanceable Legacy patch when? Shush. I'm not doing romance. I'm sorry. Lucien's just not that into you. Now, what's going on here? Have we got a crash? I've just tried to save the mod. No, we're fine. Good. Okay. Burn. Yeah, exactly. Bromance, sure. We've added some more bromance lines into this latest update for you guys to see. He's definitely up for being your friend, for being your best friend if you want. He's just not up for being more than friends. So sorry if that breaks your heart. I wouldn't be doing interactions with a Mirac follower patch for a very long time, if ever. For a number of reasons. Canon, lore friendliness. Also, I'd have to splice any dialogue between them, which would be a nightmare. I hate splicing dialogue. It's not massively popular compared to a lot of other mods. I've got so many other things that are higher priority than that. So I wouldn't get your hopes up for that one. It probably won't happen anytime soon. In principle, though, Lucien's... He's very righteously angry when people are bad and when people hurt other people. He's slow to forgive when it comes to that. I think he would have a problem because Mirac does a lot of bad things. His actions cause a lot of deaths and a lot of suffering. I think Lucien would have a very hard time forgiving Mirac. But it would be possible, I think, for Mirac to prove to Lucien that he had become a good person and had been redeemed. But I think that would be a very difficult thing for him. Does Lucien have any dialogue for when the player gets into a brawl? No, not at the moment, but that's something we could maybe add in the future. Oh, you're very welcome to ship him in your head. You can do whatever you want in your head and your fanfics, that's fine. And I always deliberately avoid specifying Lucien's sexuality in any of his media to allow you guys to headcanon whatever you want for him. He can be whatever you guys imagine, that's fine. But that won't be happening canonically in the mod. How hard was it to splice dialogue with Inigo? Well, it was made a lot easier by the fact that Gary sent me a whole bunch of unused lines from the mod to use as a pool. He's given them out to mod authors before to splice dialogue with, so he's a gentleman like that. But it's still a nightmare. I hate it, because imagine trying to write a convincing conversation with someone, except all their answers you have to choose from a list. And you've got to make the conversation flow. Now, you might say, easy, I'll just write the conversation around those lines, but try actually doing that. It's really hard. So I only managed to get a few going that I was happy with. I was very happy with the Inigo, do you think I'm useful conversation. I was very happy with how that one turned out. I think that sounds quite convincing. But it's a difficult process. Don't like it. Completely agree, Armator. What was my experience with him and the creator of the voiced follower mod, Liv? Yeah, Liv was amazing. We wrote all the dialogue. Well, some of it was collaborative and some of it was just me. And then Liv approved it. We had a shared Google Doc to do it. And Liv was wonderfully accommodating with that. And then I don't think I ever got to directly interact with Daniel. Liv sent the lines to Daniel to record, and I think I had a note on the Google Doc with a couple of sort of stage directions for him for how I envisaged some of it going. But Daniel did an amazing job with the lines. Very talented voice actor. So I was really pleased with how it turned out. But yeah, it was a lovely experience doing that. And I'm so grateful to all the guys who collaborated with me on Lucien. All the mod authors who agreed to do interactions. So Hoth Trooper and Warabiki and Smart Blue Cat for allowing me to do Inigo stuff. And Liv and Daniel for doing the Kaiden things, because I was an unheard of mod. Didn't even have a release yet when we started that. But they still agreed to spend the time working on dialogue with me, which was really special and lovely of them. And it was a special time because I think if I tried that now, I don't think I'd get very far with it. It just happened that everyone happened to be available right at that time, and for some reason was willing to take that chance on me. But it was a very rare, special combination of luck, of good luck, that resulted in us having those interactions. So I do treasure those. I'm very proud of them. Will Lucien ever be harder on the player for Thieves Guild / Dark Brotherhood membership? Yes, in a future update, but not yet. What is Lucien's D&D alignment? Lawful good. Absolutely, could not be more lawful good. He is the purest being. See, I'm a gamer lol. Hope your class is good. Will Lucien ever have lines for after the players killed the Emperor? Yes, and it'll be a big heckin' issue. You're going to have one heck of an argument for that. But not in the next update, but in the future. Why doesn't Lucien like Kaiden? They get off on the wrong foot. But if you carry on playing, you'll see that relationship develop a bit more. It's just bad luck, really. They say the wrong thing at the wrong time. How interested is Lucien in weird ideas about potential unusual applications of magic? He's fascinated in everything. Weird unusual applications of magic would be right up his street. He'd love it. So long as it's not, like, dangerous weird. Or necromancy or anything like that. Lucien would never request a fist fight. Kaiden would... Okay, so Lucien would hit Kaiden. Kaiden would hit him. Lucien would be hospitalized. And probably in a coma. And that would be the end of the fight. So I don't think that would be a good thing to explore. What sort of issues are you talking about, Lynx Queen? There shouldn't be any problems with having multiple followers at the same time. Well, you get issues with friendly fire. That, unfortunately, is just a inevitable consequence of Skyrim and the fact that it's not designed to have multiple followers. But in terms of the dialogue, it should all... I tried to design it to all be fine. They should never talk over... Well, they'll talk over each other... But Lucien will never try and start a conversation with Inigo if he's already having a conversation with Kaiden. And similarly, he won't engage Inigo in conversation if Inigo is talking to Velia. Like, it does already check. If he's already in a scene, it won't play. Will Lucien have dialogue for the Sigil Stone? What? Sigil Stone? I don't know, Lynx Queen. The only reason I can think that might be happening for you is if you've got too much load on your game engine. If you've got so many followers running at the same time and your CPU is quite old or not fast, then it could be that having to condition for all those different lines at the same time is meaning that some of them are just timing out and therefore never playing. But I would be surprised if that were happening, to be honest. I think there might be more at play. There might be something specific on your end that's not going as it should be. Or you might, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, you might be imagining it. It's very easy to, when things are random or triggered by conditions you don't know about, it's very easy for people to jump to the conclusion that, oh, it's broken or it's not working. Whereas in reality, it's either low probability or there's some condition that needs to be met. People often assume bug when it's not a bug. So you may want to look into that possibility. If NPCs get stuck, that's probably down to navmesh conflicts. Conflicts? What's a conflict? It's a breakfast cereal. Crunchy Nut Conflicts! Coming soon to Skyrim. Oh, yes, nice bowl of Crunchy Nut Conflicts. See you, Black Cat. Have a great day at work. Do you know, I've never got Conjuration to 100, so I don't actually know anything about a Sigil Stone. But when... The things like that, though, very few players will get their Conjuration to level 100. So I'm kind of prioritizing earlier on stuff that more players will get to experience. I would like to see how the non-vanilla modded follower I created appears inside a vanilla game. Is there an easy way to test that? Yes, activate your ESP. Place your follower in the world, activate your ESP, and play the game. That's the only way to see it. Oh, you mean inside a vanilla game, but yours is modded? Ooh. You can possibly make a second installation of Skyrim that's clean. You could use something like Mod Organizer or Vortex to create a clean vanilla profile and then just switch across between them, but it's always a bit of a big undertaking. Isn't someone updating Kaiden, or did I imagine that? Yes, I believe Rocky is in the process of updating Kaiden, but I don't really know anything about it. But I believe there is work being done on a new version of Kaiden, but not by Liv. See you, Tense Chamomile. Have a good sleep. Right. Finally caught up with the chat. Let's export some more of this dialogue. Sorry, yes, patch with new stuff. Optional plugin update. A Lucien X Inigo romance fanfic. Now, that would be fascinating to read. I do read some of the fanfics sometimes, I don't mind admitting. I have been on AO3 and had a little peruse to see what you guys write. And generally, it's all very sweet. Only you can make this world seem right. Only you can make the darkness right, bright. When you hold my hand, I'll understand the magic that you do. You're my dream come true, my one and only you. How's the whistling progress? I haven't got anywhere. I can't whistle. I haven't tried, to be fair, for a couple of weeks. Can't do it, though. Akatosh would endeavour to seal tight the gates of oblivion and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra-loving Aliads. Gosh, that was one heck of a long sentence. Oh, crumbs, just deleted that. Okay. And that's where I got to those blessed. Not blessed, blessed. But anyway, it goes to... Oh, it's such a long sentence. So that's why I've had to remove the character limit on the dialogue. So normally dialogue has a character limit. So if you have a look at this. Actually, huh. Okay, so I increased the dialogue limit to 255, which is the biggest you can increase it to. But it's still not big enough to include this run-on sentence, so I did have to break it up into two. And I hate that. It's going to sound really weird. Let's see if I can make it work, though. Right, Akatosh. Bless... Oh, no, but I messed it up. I said the instead of this. I stuffed it up. We're going to have to try it again. Hydrate and posture check. Sorry, thank you. Gosh, I was hunched over there. Oh, no, look, I don't often read fanfic. I just do sometimes, but please don't stress about posting stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Lucien doesn't have any reactions to Legacy of the Dragonborn, no, but he will in the future. That's planned. Someone asked that on stream about 15 minutes ago, actually. Hey, Tellerana / Jonkbronk. Welcome, 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 welcome. So we got to record this line again. Which is a pain. Yeah, we're going to have to do this whole section again. Down to Aliads. So, down from Akatosh, down to Aliads. Is that how I pronounce that, by the way? Aliads? Aliads? Alliads? Somebody help me out. Are we saying Aliads? Aliads. Yep, Aliads. Whoop-de-doo. Yay for my instincts. Okay, let's record this line again. Where are we? Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed St. Alessia with this blood of dragons. Oh, but I've messed that one up again, actually, didn't I? Because I put the pause in the wrong place. Yes. Drew it from his own heart and blessed St. Alessia with this blood of dragons, and that's where I need to pause. And then we go on to and made a covenant. Yeah, that's it. Right, okay. Come on, Joseph. You can do this. You're an actor. I'm not an actor. I try. Amateur. Right, okay. Come on. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed St. Alessia with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alessia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavour to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra-loving Aliads. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood became known more simply as Dragonborn. Okay, that one should work. Thanks for the bits, Macon. Anyone else hate math? If by that you mean maths, I love it. I love math. That's why I'm an engineer. Right. There we go. That's the next line that we want to export. So this is Book of the Dragonborn numero quattro, as they say somewhere, probably, maybe. Only you can make the darkness bright. Right, so now we've got this mother... Look at that, 238 words. Now, normally the character limit is 150, but we've hacked it to break it, so we can have a long sentence here, because there's no easy way to break this sentence up. I hate that we had to break before an and. I never break a sentence in the mod unless I absolutely have to. And here we had to, because this sentence was just too long. The hard limit is 255, so... Right! I'm going to make this nice and tight now. Covenant, that's a good word. There we go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Good stuff. Splendid, I say. What ho? The Daedra-loving Aliads. You son of a Daedra. Yeehaw! Sorry, I don't know what came over me there. Right, and then this one. Oh, hang on. Is Dragonborn. Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin, oh he lives in the bin. Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin, oh he's looking quite thin. He's been on a diet, and he's being quite quiet. Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin, oh he lives in the bin. Those are the actual lyrics, if you translate the Dovahzul. Very few people know the true translations, but I actually do, because I'm an expert. So there, that's that. The Hacksaw King. Why is it maths in the UK and math in America? Because in the UK we have more than one. We do so many different maths. You put jumping spiders in Lucian's inventory. That's so mean. New York, New York, it's a wonderful town. The band is in and the family's round, making up the words to the song. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. New York, New York. You heard me scream. Did I scream? I don't think I screamed. Oh, is that because I'm your ringtone? Me screaming is your ringtone, isn't it? Oh, dear. Is Lucien scared of bugs? No, he's fascinated by them, but I do think he finds giant spiders a little bit as I think most people would. Hey, we got all the numbers. We got 2 plus 2, we got 3 plus 3, we got 7 plus 7, we got 1 plus 4, 5 plus 9, 852 divided by 1. We got all the math. So many numbers. Right, let's try and get back to where we were then, to carry on with the export process. As Dragonborn. But there is one who can hold back for something. In their tongue, he is known as Dovahkiin. Dragonborn. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-da. Yeah, and so on. That is my version of the trailer. Right, so the connection with the what's-his-face is there from the when. Only those of the dragon blood were able to wear the Amulet of Kings and light the dragon fires. The dragon fires. Lovely. Good. Export. Mudcrabborn, that's me. I'm the Mudcrabborn. Oh, dear. That'd be a good username, actually. Ha, Bard, and that's number wang. I'm sorry, Bard, I'm afraid none of those numbers are number wang. F in the chat for Noon of having to go through Bleak Falls again. I like Bleak Falls, though. Yeah. I mean, you can call me Lucien if you want. It's just not my name. We've got to have some kind of distinction between fiction and reality, haven't we? Otherwise I will go a bit insane. And I'm going quite insane under lockdown anyway, so... And the Empresses of First Cyrillic Empire founded by Alessia, Riemann Cyrodiil and his heirs. Oh, rats. I didn't leave a big enough pause. Cyrodiil and his heirs. No, I ran straight on from heirs into and, of course. We'll have to record that bit again as well. Why does everything take so long? Right. Where's the line? All the legitimate rulers of the Empire have been Dragonborn. The emperors and empresses of the First Cyrodiilic Empire founded by Alessia, Riemann Cyrodiil and his heirs. And of course Tiber Septim and his heirs, down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Sorry, I'm just backtracking up through the chat. Shout out to Mudcrabs managing to give Thunderbite a jump scare regardless of whether they see them or not. Are your lasses from Just Set? I have no idea what that means, Blackbird. Watcher, did you have any other name contenders for him before you decided on Lucien? Did I? Well, what I did was I went on UESP for Imperial names and looked through a list until I found one I liked the sound of. And I think Lucien was my first choice. At the time, I wasn't aware that Lucien LeChance was a thing. And had I known that, because I'd never really played Oblivion properly, you know, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have chosen it if I'd known there was such a major character that was also competing with the name, because it always leads to confusion, or used to when the mod first came out anyway. Nowadays, people realise it's a different thing. I don't think there were any other contenders. I think the other one that leapt out at me were things like Davidicus, which I ended up using for his father. But that would never have worked for Lucien, I don't think. Because I liked the sound of Lucien. I like the flow of it. I like the way it means light. You know, or rather it comes from the same root of light, being Lux. Same as Lucy. I liked that. That seemed to encapsulate a lot about his character. And I like the sibilance of it, the Lucien. It sounds softer. It's not like Wolfgar or something that sounds powerful. It sounds soft and gentle, which is how I sort of envisaged him being. Druxy's going to play Pokemon. Yay, very exciting. Are your classes from home, Joseph? Yes, everything's at home at the moment. I'm under complete lockdown, which is... Well, I mean, I get to go for walks and things, but I don't get to see other people, which is a bit mentally yikes. But, you know, I have lots of video calls and things, and Zoom chats and virtual bar nights and stuff, but it's not quite the same as having friends around, is it? I'm an introvert too. You know, I like my own company, but there comes a limit. You know, you get to a point where you're kind of like, I would still like to talk to another human at this point now. That would be nice if I could. Yes, Titus Mede is the current emperor, but he's reading a book, isn't he? The book was written back when Pelagius was on the throne. I mean, kind of, yeah, that is why it's in the listing, was because it's the name of Lucien Lachance. Yes, so that's kind of where the name does come from. I'm loving all these names coming up in the chat. Oh, Octavius Flavius, actually, that I used for the stream, for the ESO streams, was another alternative name for his father before I settled on Davidicus. Lucien Flavius, yes. Or as YouTube likes to call it when it does subtitles, he'll often say, "Hello, my name is Lucien Flowers." That's what the subtitles often read when you pop them on. Which I quite like. Lucien the Flowers, the Imperial. Lucien the Flowers, the Imperial. Oh! Follow him down to a inn called Dead Man's Drink. He'll ask you to follow you, accuse him of flirting. Then before you know it, you've got a new best friend, or someone you want to stab, depending on your inclination. So where did Flavius come from? Like the sound of it. Basically. Latin surname. Liked it. That's why. Posture check. Thank you, Druxy. Why did he choose Falkreath? Because it's the first town you get to when you cross over the southern crossing into Skyrim. So that's where he ended up. Who would stab Lucien? I mean, lots of people. I get a lot of comments from people online saying how much they hate Lucien and would like to kill him. So I usually go blockety blockety block when I get that, because I don't have to listen to that. But yeah, there are lots of people who don't like Lucien very strongly. Yes, apparently Flavius Josephus was a historian. Someone drew my attention to that quite a while ago, or drew that to my attention. Someone told me about Flavius Josephus a little while ago, and I think that's quite a fun coincidence. That is entirely coincidental. There we go. Lovely stuff. Export that one as line number 10. We are not going to finish this stream. How have I spent the entire stream on one book? This is why I hope, you know, when you guys ask for things like this, you're like, oh, please, can we have another book? Just make him marriageable. Just add this. You know, it takes time. So much time. Oh, and then you say, when's it coming out? I don't know. It takes so long. Yeah, Druxy, we have fixed that for the next update. That was a bug. I balked a condition, which is why he says that line so much. He'll say it much less in version 1.6.0. How do you cope with online trolls? With liberal blocking. I just block anything, anyone who starts trolling me. And I have a wonderful team of moderators in the Discord to help keep things comfortable for me there. They make it into a lovely environment where I feel comfortable interacting with you guys. Hang on, so where do we get to? What did I literally just record? Pelagius Septim the Fourth. All legitimate rulers. The fourth. Right, so this is where we're up to now. Okay, if you could just let go, Tiny Lucy, in there. Thank you. Yeah, but the thing with game publishers is they're paid. You know, full-time. It's their job. And I'm lucky enough that I'm paid for this, which is wonderful, thanks to you guys' support. But it's still not, you know, a living... You know, it's not a full-time... I couldn't quit the day job, let's say. Yeah, that was some of the advice that Gary gave me, funnily enough, which is what I've always followed, you know, just block. Blockity, blockity, block. No, that's true. I wouldn't want to quit the day job. I do a lot of side jobs that I would like to quit more of to make more time for creating. But the PhD I wouldn't want to quit, no. When I was finishing school, our administration wanted us to do cold calling to a bunch of game studios for interviews / advice or whatever, and we were like, oh, like, are you insane? They don't put the actual phone numbers out there for a reason. Yeah, exactly. True. True. What if Lucien came across a black book written by him? Well, that sounds like a fun fanfic. I'd love to read what you guys come up with for that. Now, where do we get to? Talos, who was Tiber Septim. So that's number 11. Go! Export. I mean, it's always good to think about what you want to be in advance. It's always good because you can plan ahead. You know, I picked well, I don't know what the equivalent is for you guys in the US, but I chose my A-levels to allow me to go to university and study engineering. And if I hadn't chosen the A-levels that I did, I wouldn't have been able to become an engineer. So it does pay to plan ahead if you can. But it's not the be-all or end-all. You don't need to know what you want to do with your life at this stage. No one really knows necessarily what they're going to end up doing with their life. You just figure it out as you go along, in my experience anyway. But it's always good to think about. So do have a think, if you can. But don't stress about it. See you, Vikil. I hope work's okay. Have a great rest of your day. Well, if you don't want to go to uni college, don't go to uni or college, you know? It's not for everyone. There's certainly no requirement. Right, what's the next line? Very few realise, down to bestowed. Bestowed. Oh, I had a weird breath there. Bestowed. Ah. Why did I... There you go. Come on, zoom in a bit more. Yeah, that's okay. We'll cut there. Good. Good, 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 good. Goody, 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 good, good. Good-a-rooney. Good-tastic. Goodness gracious me. Can you tell I'm tired? It's fine. Got another hour. We're going to get there. We're going to export all of this. La, 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 la. An executive chef. That sounds fun. Think is good. Joseph said so. Yeah, is good. Oh, I'm sorry. You've got cramps, Marine? That sounds uncomfortable. Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin. Right, what's the next line? What's the next one? What kind of drivel did I put down next? Those who become emperor down to lighting of the fires. There you go. Okie dokie. Export that. Walla bamba ba da ba da ba walla bamba la 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 Humpty. Lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things, or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? Ah, I scuffed it. Right. I messed it up again. There we go. Don't even talk to me about student debt. Let's just pretend that doesn't exist. That's how I cope with life. There we go. That was a good take. Right. Export that. Crikey, that's a lot, Bard. We're quite lucky in the UK that ours isn't quite as steep as that. But it's still a thing. Lovely. That was a good take as well, so we can export that. Yeah, it would be really great if there was some kind of module at school explaining how taxes work and credit scores work and pension plans and all of that. That would be very helpful. I don't know why that's never taught. You'd think that would be a very easy thing to fit into a subject. But it's not. They never do it. I don't know why. Don't get it. They should have, like, personal finance studies. Should be a thing. Right, all the stuff about the line of septims. I'm going to have a little bigger pause there. There we go. Right, okay. So where are we going to? We're going line of septims, have all been dragon, of course, down to commonplace. Commonplace, that's number 16. Number 16! And tonight's Thunderball is number 16! Wow! I don't know why I just did a Yoshi Wahoo, but I did posture check. Thank you, Lutra. It's easy for my posture to go while I'm doing this. And hydrate, thank you. What's my favourite texture pack? For sheer ambition, I'm a big fan of the Skyrim 2020 texture pack, or rather Skyrim 2018, Skyrim 2019, whatever, you know, it's changed every year. Because that goes for sheer photorealistic, amazing 4K photorealistic textures. But I don't find it works 100% for me. Some of them stick out quite jarringly. But for sheer ambition of it, I'm a big fan of what that mod does to the view. That's what I have. I do use it in my Lucien the Dragonborn playthrough, but sparingly. I picked and chosen a few textures that I like from it, and not used some of the ones that I don't like. And I think it adds some really nice detail to the world. But I wouldn't ever just use that on its own. I also use Osmodius texture. Isn't that a thing? Osmodius? I can't remember what it's called. I also use that one. We know for certain that the early Cyridate rulers were not all related. Why do people prefer MO2 to Vortex? I don't know. I've never tried it, but Vortex has always done a wonderful job for me, so I've got no reason to change. Hey, Enderscram, welcome to the stream. Good to see you too. Hope you're doing really well. That life is treating you well, and everything good is happening to you. Many blessings of much happiness unto you. Because today, I'm now suddenly a fortune cookie. We know for certain the early Cyrodiil rulers were not all related. There is also no evidence that Raymond Cyrodiil... Where's that? Where does that sentence end? Legitimize his rule. Lovely. That could be number 18. You're still using NMM. Gosh, that's very outdated. I find Vortex a much more easy to use tool than NMM, personally. But whatever floats your boat, doesn't matter. Whatever works for you on your personal setup is fine. We know that the blades originated in the late First Era is where we're going down to. Hang on. The blades. The active areas of sailors in the regions in the late Third Era. Yeah, there we go. That must have sounded weird to those of you who couldn't hear the what's playing over my headphones. Just me making weird noises with my mouth. Ding dong. A lappa ding dong ning nong flicking dong dong bom bom dee ba a zee ba ba ba. Oh, see ya, Enderscram! A flying visit. Now, ages ago, someone requested my favourite musical song. Now, one of my favourite musical songs is probably... My favourite musical song is Till I Hear You Sing, which I've sung a couple of times before, but I can't really sing very well on this. A lot of my other favourites are from Phantom and stuff, which we sing quite a lot on these streams, so I probably won't subject you to them again. But there is one that I've been thinking of quite a lot lately that's been... it's quite catchy, which is from Love Never Dies, which is the sequel to Phantom. And it's sung by Raoul, and it's very self-pitying. But it's also a bit of a slight little bit of a heart-wrencher, kind of, depending on how much you sympathise with him. But it goes kind of... She looks for sympathy. I give her sorrow. She asks for honesty. I've none to borrow. She needs my tender kiss. She begs it of me. I give her ugliness. Why does she love me? Started a bit high there, we'll go down a bit. She yearns for higher things, things I can't give her. The rush that music brings, I can't deliver. And even when she sings and soars above me, I try to clip her wings. Why does she love me? One more drink, sir. That's what I need, don't you think, sir? Leave the hurt behind. And then there's a very sad violin. Dee, 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 dee. It's very sad. It's much better with a piano. Really. And then it goes on, and it's very self-pitying. And then it gets all powerful, and then it segues into a big battle between the Phantom and Raoul, which is very dramatic. But that's very much a two-parter, so I can't really sing that. Because it does literally require me singing two parts over the top of each other. But there we go. Little bit of that. Hope that's okay. Oh, thanks for the follow links, Queen. Thanks, friends. Glad you enjoyed. Hey, Coffee with Dragons. Thanks so much for the sub. Links Queen, a lot of people don't realise there's a shortcut through Doomspathar. If when you get to the main gate, you know, the big vault door, and you turn right instead of left, that gate's unlocked when you completed the dungeon, and if you take that, it takes you straight to Lucien. So, yeah, you still got to go through the main entrance to Doomspathar. You got to go through, you got to get yourself to that vault door, which takes, I don't know, 20 seconds to run across there. And then, if you go through that elevator, on the right rather than on the left, you get straight to Lucien. That's the best I can do. It wouldn't make sense to have a shortcut any further than that, because the whole point of the vault door is to keep Doomspathar in. Like, if the Dwemer had built a shortcut to get you straight past that vault door, it wouldn't be doing a very good job of keeping Doomspathar in. Have I listened to Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 or Hadestown? I know nothing about those, I'm afraid. But I can certainly look them up if someone reminds me. She needs the man I was, husband and father. At least she thinks she does. She needn't bother. First proclaim Riemann Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. Cool, that'll do. We'll export that. Hey, HPie, welcome to the stream. So since Kaiden is getting new lines for the DLCs, can we expect new Lucien sus Kaiden dialogue? Aren't you Rocky? HPie, isn't it you doing the new update? Or have I got that completely wrong? See you, Potato Born. So we already had this conversation, didn't we? Sort of remotely through Nuna. But yeah, I'd love to do more interactions sort of in the long run. But as you can see, I've got so many other projects on the go right now that it's not really something I can look at doing at this stage. But in principle, it's something I would like to expand in the future. But it's a big job, and I've got just so many other things to do right now that I wouldn't want to commit to that at this stage. But sure, maybe one day. Did I export that? I've confused myself now. First proclaim Riemann Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. Bum-de-bum-de-bum-de-bum. Did I? I swear I... Didn't I export that? There we go, there it is. Right, sorted. Onwards. You should absolutely listen to them. They are amazing. great comment is from a chapter of War and Peace, but is so much more interesting than that sounds. And Hades Town is about the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice / Hades and Persephone. Is it? I didn't know that. I didn't know it was actually based on that. I've only heard about it very, very roughly. I've heard of it. Don't really know anything about it as a musical. Hang on. And that's the next one. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most, wrote his standing as emperor, although Riemann himself never took that title in his lifetime. You did say I should try and listen to that, and because I have no time and I'm rubbish and I forget everything, I haven't done. But do nudge me about it at regular intervals, and eventually I will. Love Never Dies, I think, is a mixed bag. But I think it's a really interesting take on the story that goes in its own unique direction, and it's got some really powerful songs in it. So some of it's not as good as Phantom, and some of it has issues, but I really like a lot of it. Particularly Till I Hear You Sing. Those of you who haven't listened to Till I Hear You Sing, you need to listen to that song. I love it. But don't ask me to see it because it goes too darn high. Andrew Lloyd Webber has no respect for normal human vocal ranges. I used to be able to do it, but I've got to really practice it to be able to perform it. Yeah, that's fine. And of course, there is no known connection between Tiber Septim and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Number 22. Who is your favourite character from all Elder Scrolls lore? Oh, crikey. Sheogorath? Because he's fun, despite, you know, jump skipping with intestines. It's quite fun. Aged Pie is the person creating new lines for Kaiden for the DLC, Ocean's Rider. So that's where they heard about it, because they're doing it. Is another mystery. Is another mystery. Number 23. Export sport. Because the super trooper lights are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue ba super ba. Da da do da do da da do da da. Right, his or her heirs. From the emperors down to his or her heirs. There we go. Fly me to the moon. So, as I'm sure you've obviously discovered, whenever I'm exporting large batches of dialogue like this, I always end up singing in between exports. Because there's so much dead time where you're just sitting there waiting for the next thing to load. And then it keeps my voice active, keeps my voice warmed up. And I don't know, I just do it. So a lot of Frank Sinatra happens between takes. What was this? The history of the blades also hints at this. Oh yeah, and that's where I scuffed this up. Now, where was my retake? Here we are. No, that was a blah, blah, blah. There's the blah, 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 blah. Also hints at this. There you go. That number 25. History of the Blades also hints at this. 25 lines. Blah. So many lines. How many lines? How many lines have I gotta record? So many, this is all I do. In my life, I just sit here and I record lines. The things I do for you, my audience. Who none of you requested this anyway. Oh, you did actually. Way back when we did that early stream, this was the book you wanted Lucien to read, so. Interregnum? Do we think interregnum? Interregnum? What do you think? We happy with that pronunciation? I said interregnum, but I just guessed. Are we happy with interregnum? Do shout, now's the time. Sounds right to Nuna? Anyone else want to jump in? Yeah, okay, 3 people think it sounds right. We're laughing, we're fine. Or might be Dragonborn during this time. Yeah, that was a good take. Go past Joe. Oh, I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. Oh, I've got you under my skin. Oh, I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, little fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, wake up to reality. Oh, but each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. 'Cause I've got you under my skin. Who is Octavius allied with again? The Daggerfall Covenant. Bobzilla, will Lucien ever comment on armor? Maybe some lines on any of the immersive armor sets? Yes, Lucien comments. We added quite a lot of armor commentary into this update for the vanilla armor. Lots of different variants on that. But we won't be doing immersive armor's modded armor for quite a long time. That's quite far down the list of priorities, I think. We've gone with interregnum. That's what I said. But hopefully I said it quick enough that you won't even notice the difference anyway. And yep, thank you, Nuna. That's correct. No swearing in the chat, please. No spoilers, Lynx Queen. Lots of people haven't played it yet, but I'm glad you are feeling like that about it, because that's what I wanted. You'll have your chance to discuss it with him. Does he have dialogue for Saviour's Hide or the Ring of Hersey? No, not yet. But pandas are cool, it's true. But no, he doesn't have dialogue for that yet. He will in the future, but we haven't really done many Daedric quests at the moment. There's so much stuff I hadn't had time to do yet. But, you know, one day, Lucien will comment on everything. Is it very weird to devote so much time to modding a game that you have no time to play recreationally anymore? No, not really. The modding is a whole separate thing in itself, really. Ding dong. We're going down to Dragon Blood. Sweet, sweet Dragon Blood. Dragon Blood. Dragon Blood. It's the EU server, isn't it, rather than the specific UK server. But yes, I'm on the EU server, and we have the guild in the Daggerfall Covenant on the EU server. So do come along, if you like, and join in on multiplayer Mondays. We don't always play it on Monday, but, you know, well, whenever we play it, it is on Monday, but not every Monday do we play it. But, you know, we will be playing it more in future, and you're all very welcome to join the squad. Is not known. We didn't know. Right, number 30. Half an hour left of the stream. Are we going to get this done? Probably not. What am I doing in life? The Nords tell tales of Dragonborn heroes who are great dragon slayers able to steal the power of the dragons they killed. Number 31. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion. That's French for invasion, don't you know? Trust me, I'm a French speaker. I'm not. I can't. You can tell it, the stream's been going for 2.5 hours now because I'm talking absolute nonsense. The filter's completely gone. Oh dear. This is why we have to cap the streams at 3 hours. Dragon Guard. Dragon Guard. Dragon Guard sounds so much cooler than the Blades, don't you think? The Dragon Guard. That sounds awesome. Do I seem tired? Oh, I'm sorry, Macon. I'm not tired as such. I've just been doing a lot of these lines recorded. You know, we've been going for a while. But, you know, look how far we are through. Look, we're nearly at the end. Look, it's just that left. We started there, we've got that far. Just this bit left. We can do it. We can do it. I believe. We can get there. Come on, team. Push through to the end. Ah, I hate this. Had to break it up there, didn't we? Hate having to break mid-sentence. It always looks so weird in the subtitles, but again, it's unavoidable. To the blades of today. Number 33 posture check, thank you. Hydrate. Thank you, I believe in me too. And I believe I can record the rest and export the rest of this dialogue in the remaining time we've got on the stream. And I said predecessor in America. You guys say predecessor, I think. But, you know, I do what I want. My stream. In it. Oh, no, I'll have to sell the mace. Right, so we're finally on to the prophecy of the Dragonborn. With what is known as the prophecy of the Dragonborn. Number 34. Yeah, export. Exportastic. See you, check. Sorry about the buffering. Sounds like our internet's really struggling these days. Now, we struggled with this, didn't we? It is often said to originate in an Elder Scroll. There's the Newt Newt. See those two waves there? That's the Newt Newt. Nope. Bye, Tiny Lucien. Down you hop. Nope, that didn't work either. I'll stick the Newt Newt on the Discord afterwards for you guys if you like. Here, let me export it. Oh, I'll do it at the end. I actually like that tape better. Let's re-export that. Akaviri. The Akaviri from Akavir, don't you know? That's where they come from. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're just sort of from Akavir. They're sort of Akaviri. Sort of Akavir-ish. Okay, many have attempted to decipher it. Something about omens, down to was at hand. Number 36. This is quite a good number of lines for me to have recorded in one day. Anything above 20 is a very strong, productive day for me. I know Gary, who does Inigo, Smart Blue Cat, does way more than that sometimes. Guy's a wizard. That's why I'll never catch up with Inigo. Because he works faster than me. How often do I record lines off stream? Twice a week? 3 times a week? It varies. It really massively varies depending on when I have time. Will Lucien was dialogue for Skooma? No, Lucien would never take Skooma. He does have dialogue for carrying Skooma. Yes, Tiny Lucien's adorable, isn't he? There is an Argonian custom voice follower, actually. I think they're called Kesh or Cash. They're quite new. There is one, though, available on the Nexus. I think they're done by Rabbit Winry. And there's also one in Interesting NPCs. Number 39. Which is an amazing mod, by the way. Interesting NPCs is like 20 mods in one. It's a fantastic achievement. Plus, Zora Fairchild was my first custom voice follower. And, you know, always has a special place in my heart. Gotta love Zora. And the red tower trembles. We're so nearly there, guys. We're so nearly there. See you, Yami. No need to apologise. There's never any requirements of anyone to be active in the chat. Have a great rest of your day. When the drone. Wait, hang on. Stop past Joseph. We're going to White Tower Falls. That's that one there. Number 41. What's the next thing? The Snow Tower does its thing. What does it do? It lies sundered, kingless, and bleeding. Kingless. Sundered's a great word. You know, no one says sundered anymore. Never happens. How often does someone come along to you and say, oh, yes, I can't even think of something that would be sundered. Oh, yes, I just sundered. I dropped my mug and it was sundered. Doesn't happen. Me and my best friend were sundered by the pandemic. You know, it doesn't. People should. Let's bring back sundered. It's great. And no, links don't work. You cannot post links in the chat. Not a thing. Sorry. But you're welcome to share it in the Discord. But it's a very simple matter of just Googling to find it, isn't it? Just Google cache follower Skyrim and you'll find it, won't you? That's the final line of the book. Sundered means broken, split, cracked, pulled asunder. Yes, the Beyond Skyrim thing is Seat of Sundered Kings. Yes, exactly. Now let's go to Steve for the weather. Thank you, Jeremy. Well, tonight it looks like the skies are going to be torn asunder by a storm. So make sure you bring your umbrellas. That's how I envisage weather forecasts going in the future, you know, when I come to power. There you go. That's number 44. A potted history of the Dragonborn for... Oh, no. Okay. History of the Dragonborn for you. There we go. We're done. We've exported them all. Now it's just a matter of importing them all into the creation kit, which is going to take another whole load of time. But we might as well start. Yeah, okay, right, we're going to save there. Which means we're done with Cubase, so we can close this for the day. Farewell, Cubase. Which means I don't need to wear these anymore. I hate wearing headphones. They make my ears so hot. Don't like. Yes, you're very cool, Novablade. You're the coolest bean. Posture check. Thank you, Druxy. Right, now we start again. But what we do first, now this is the exciting bit. Are you ready? Are you ready? We're going to grab all these lines. All those ones. And that one down to there. Oh, no. Okay, we're going to take all those ones first. And copy those over. Hold Control and drag. Copy. And then we're going to grab... Oh, crumbs. Are you done? Are you okay? Have you done it? I think it's done it. Excellent. Then we're going to grab these ones. And we're going to grab all of those and we're going to yeet them over into the folder as well. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Come on. Wait for the little cursor to turn into a plus. There we go. And let go.
Hey, you. You're cool. You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Ran straight into that Imperial ambush. Just like us, and that thief over there. Damn Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy.
I think I'm probably paraphrasing that quite badly. I think this has crashed. Come on, you can do it. It's just a simple drag and drop operation. There we go. All sorted. Thanks, Walking Existential Dread. Thank you so much for tuning in for so long. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Yeah, that's already been mentioned several times on the stream, Links Queen. I would have to address Lucien's family and home in some way when Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil comes out, yes. I would need to, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. But I don't know how I'm going to do that yet.
Hydrate!
Thank you. Okie pokey.
Sure, Mara, Debella, Akatosh, Kinnereth, Divines, please help me! For the love of Talos, shut up and let's get this over with. Archers! Anyone else feel like running?
I'm doing this in all the wrong order, but...
Look at him, General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Thalmor are with him. Damn elves, I knew they'd have something to do with this. So this is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here. I wonder if Vilard is still making those, still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in, I think. Ah, Vilard. Still making her mead with those juniper berries. Why do you think? End of the line.
Which divine is Lucien most pious for? He's not. Lucien is not pious. He believes in the gods, obviously, because the gods objectively exist. When you pray at the shrine, you get blessings. Martin Septim turns into a massive dragon. Like, they're clearly there, so he believes in them, but he doesn't worship them. He's not pious. Because he doesn't think they do a great job, to be frank. There's so much evil in Tamriel. So much suffering. Lucien would have a big argument with the gods if he ever met them. Will Lucien ever comment on the Helgen rebuilt mod? Maybe one day, but again, it's very low down the list of priorities. Lucien believe in Talos? He certainly wouldn't. He's very aware of the importance of the white gold concordat, so he probably wouldn't openly acknowledge Talos as a divine. Yeah, exactly. Granny Weatherwax is exactly it, Nuna. Oh, sure, they're real, but why'd you want to go around believing in them? Just give some ideas. I think there's a Terry Pratchett quote I'm almost certainly paraphrasing, which is, bad idea to be an atheist in a world where the gods will come round and smash your windows in. I'm sure I've massively paraphrased that, but there's something along those lines that always stuck in my head. Oh, God, no. Lucien would never try and fistfight God. No, he wouldn't be silly enough to try and do that. Who Lucien most wants a hug from? The Dragonborn. The Dragonborn. And Kaiden. He'd love a Kaiden hug. He'd love a Hoth hug, actually, because Hoth is such a tough guy. And I think he looks very huggable. He looks like a big bear. Lucien would love a Hoth hug. I think if he had a hug from Ori, he'd probably die. You know, he'd just dissolve into a quivering, awkward mess. But bless him. Bet Inigo gives great hugs as well. Let me just play this line back, make sure I'm still caught up. Hoth's a lot of fun. I like Hoth. And he's got some great dialogue with Lucien that I loved writing. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood. Yep, we're still on track. Yeah, the Ori dialogue's a lot of fun, isn't it, Armata? Waribiki and I wrote that together and I loved it. Yeah, well, Parthenax, Lucian's convinced that Parthenax redeemed himself. From the moment Lucien met Parthenax, right the way up until, well, throughout the entire game, Parthenax has been nothing but an ally. He's proved himself to Lucien time and time again. Whereas Merak has constantly tried to murder Lucien and his best friend. Parthenax has never tried that. Merak has. So, I would say that's the distinction. Yes, exactly, Nuna. Yeah, back in the Merethic era, but Lucien isn't in the Merethic era. The connection with the rulers of the Empire was thus there. Yeah, exactly, last Turdas. Or Tirdas, however you pronounce that. In fact, Lucien did try to kill Lucien last Tirdas. Like, Lucien did... Merak did try to kill Lucien last Tirdas, essentially. You know. Lucien has a lot of experience of Merak trying to kill him in your playthroughs. And Lucien isn't a fan of being killed. You know, he's really not down for it. Like, on his list of things to do today, get murdered. Not a priority. Look, Merak is certainly involved, isn't he? He's certainly got something to do with it, with the whole mind control rocks and the whole rocking up and stealing your dragon souls and generally being a big smelly meanie. He doesn't rock up and say, "Hi, Lucien, my name's Merak. Shall we have a cup of tea?" Does he? He's like, "I want to destroy everything." No, I think Lucien would get on well with Serana because she's good in the game, isn't she? You know? She's clearly a good person. Lucien, oh, and I want to stress this. I'm not saying Lucien would not forgive anyone for their past actions. I'm not saying Lucien will turn up and judge you immediately on your past. That's not his character. He's not going to judge you for who you've been. He'll judge you for who you are. Who you are with him, how you act towards him, and he'll remember that. And then if you have been horrible, if you've tried to kill him, or more importantly, tried to hurt his friends, he'll have a very hard time moving past that, which is why he would have an issue with Merak. With Parthenax has never tried to hurt the player. He's done nothing but help them, which is why Lucien is supportive of him. And in the same way, Serana has done nothing but try to help the player. Serana is a good egg in the game anyway. So regardless of her past, it's her present that matters to Lucien. So I think Lucien would get on well with Serana. He probably wouldn't approve 100% of the whole vampirism thing, but you know, he'd do all right. Export. Bum 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 ba bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum. Those who become Emperor and light the Dragonfires are surely Dragonborn. The proof... Yeah, but, right, being cured is a thing in Skyrim, isn't it? I think that would be the discussion that Lucien would have. It's not necessarily anyone's fault for becoming a vampire. Depending on the circumstances, under Serana's circumstances, no, not her choice. But getting yourself cured is a choice. And it's certainly debatable, and I know you can have that whole debate with Serana, and that's fine. But, yeah, there are these things to discuss. It's not a clear-cut thing. Hey, Tayson, welcome to the stream. I'm afraid we're only here for another 8 minutes, but lovely to have you here. Hope all is well with you. How's things going? Is the dragon blood a blessing or a curse? Bit of both. That's definitely the way Lucien sees it in the Lucien the Dragonborn playthrough. He's not particularly happy about it when it first happens, is he? Yeah, that's a good point, Armator. I don't know. Maybe. What did I do there? I think I messed up. All that we can say is... All that we can say is that it is both and neither. Just realised you guys can see all my old MP3s and things there when I open that up, which I haven't changed for years. I don't know what that is. I'll have a look at it next time it opens up. I think I saw a bassoon recording there, which would have been my brother. And there was some Star Wars music that I remember making an album of back when I was like 9. Do da 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 dum. Ba-dum ba-dum bum ba-da-da-dum. Bum ba bum 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 ba-da ba 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 ba. Posture check, thank you. Hydrate, very important. Lucien wouldn't like guns. I think Lucien might refuse to use a gun on principle. I know he does kill people. The thing is, right, Skyrim has a fundamental engine limitation where you have to kill people. Like, you can't play the game without killing. There are no non-lethal options. If there were non-lethal options, Lucien would use them every time. Because that's his character. There aren't, so he doesn't. But I think he might, yeah, take ethical issue just with the concept of wielding a gun. Well, we're going to finish in about 5 minutes, Marine, anyway, so that seems like good timing. Oh, bye, here I go killing again. Yeah, that is true, Link Screen. He does do that. He does get a bit carried away sometimes. I'm gonna finish exporting and renaming this stuff after dinner, I think. I think we're gonna do the last 5 minutes and we're gonna end, and then I'll do the rest of this off stream. Rather than leave it for a week unfinished, because that's going to just be annoying and it's going to be hard to remember where we got to. Which were we on to now? And of course there is no known hereditary connection. And of course there is no known hereditary connection between type
No known hereditary connection.
What happens if you shake Tiny Lucien? This is what happens. He gets dizzy. Poor chap. Go on, down you hop. Sorry for that. Does Lucien have a favourite gemstone? No, not really. What in-game book do you plan to do after this one? I mean, I had planned on doing another one if we finish this on the stream, but we haven't done. So I don't know whether we will do another one for the next update. We'll have to see how things go. Certainly undecided, though. If we were to do another one, I don't know which one we would do. Not Lusty Argonian Maid. I do want to do Lusty Argonian Maid at some point. But that wouldn't be something I would want to show you guys on stream beforehand, because I'd want you to experience it in-game, because it's opportunity for comedy, isn't it? And comedy is completely undermined if you hear it all first up front. You know? It's all about timing. Yeah, so the alchemy puns were one-offs, weren't they? They were one-off sentences, so you got the comedy as I recorded them. You know, they're one-off sentences, so the timing doesn't matter, it's just the sentence, so that's fine. A big run-on thing like a book reading for comedy, I wouldn't want to, you know, I'd want to deliver that under the right conditions. What can I say? I'm highly strung. Okay, I'm going to end the stream there, I think. Oh, I've realised Vickle donated and I didn't see it when it came up. They probably think I'm really rude. I'll send them a message to thank them. It doesn't ping for me when I'm doing the audio. It doesn't come up, and it doesn't show up on this side screen on the on my chat screen. It only shows up on the on the Streamlabs thing. Ugh. I should have thanked them. Hate that. Thanks so much for the bits, Lynx Queen. Yeah, will do, Macon. Thanks for the reminder. Right, friends, thank you all so much for watching. This has been great fun, as ever. You make it so much more fun to work on Lucien. Having you guys along rather than just me doing it my own. Thanks for the bit, Druxy. So yeah, thank you for being around. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Do lots of fun things. Sing a song for yourself. Yeah, I'll be back on Saturday. I'll be back on Saturday for the Superhero Saturday stream. I think we'll probably play more Avengers, because we haven't played that for a little while. Otherwise, might try Batman. Don't know. See how it goes. We'll be back at 7 o'clock on Saturday for that. And, of course, Multiplayer Monday on Monday. So do tune into that if you're interested. More videos from me on my YouTube channel. I'm uploading some of the older VODs to get them online for the other modding workshops. If you want to catch up with them in HD, you'll see them on the YouTube channel. So do make sure you're subbed to that if you're not. Otherwise, yeah, see you next week then for the next modding workshop, which is next Thursday as well. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching and for your lovely support, as ever. See you around. Bye-bye.